Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Welcome everybody and welcome back to the community updates, which we have been in touch, but not in the form of community updates. We've been doing a lot of things in the month of Ramadan. They weren't the usual feeling of the community updates because of the special month. And now we're back at it to something which we might call an abridged community update, since the weather is so nice out. Maghrib is quite late, and we didn't want to take away from people's time outside of the house and enjoying the nice weather. And at the same time, didn't want to go too late. I know myself, I'm not don't like to go too late into things. And also, we are up at 4:45 a.m. with the adhkar of the morning and a short talk that usually goes until the time outside of the karahiyah time, which is uh, outside of ishraq. We pray salat al-ishraq. So usually that takes us about to 5:50 at this time. So let's now begin with our usual and our customary dua that we had began with and we shouldn't stop with. This is such an important dua and such a critical dua, I would say, at all times. These two in particular are so important to be done on a regular basis, every morning, every evening, that we say three times these two ad'iyah. So let's begin. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. Today, we have a special guest. We have, aside from our usual announcements, we have a special guest, being Sheikh Amin Muhammad, somebody that we know very well, and somebody that's been really on the front lines in Atlantic City on the situation regarding police brutality and injustice against our African American, the African American community, and he's definitely one of the imams of our African American brothers and sisters in Islam. So we have a lot to be concerned about regarding that subject, and we have Sheikh Amin Muhammad with us. But first, while he joins, he's still not with us at the moment, but I want to bring in a story, another dua very quickly before we go to Sami. A dua that to me is extremely important. A dua that comes from a story of the great Imam al-Shafi'i, Imam Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i, in which he was caught up in some intrigue when he was young. And he was a scholar, but he wasn't famous and wasn't known. And he was caught up in some intrigue. And during this time, he had no supporters. He had no allies. He had nobody to help him. And he was about to be found guilty of treason against the Abbasid Khalifa Harun al-Rashid. So as he was awaiting trial, he began saying this dua right here, which I believe all of us should have on our tongues on a regular basis to protect us from any indignity, to protect us from any loss of our deen or our dunya. And that dua is, Ya Latif, ultuf bina fima jarat bihi al-maqadir. Again, Ya Latif, ultuf bina fima jarat bihi al-maqadir. Which means that, destiny is going to come down upon us. And when the Prophet says qadar here, or qada in other hadiths, he means trials, tribulations, bad things. They're going to come down either way. However, that does not necessarily mean they will harm us. They will come. They're destined, so they're coming either way. However, it doesn't necessarily mean it will harm us. And that's why we have to make dua for al-lutf in the qada. And that's another dua was, Allahumma inni la as'aluka radd al-qada, walakinni as'aluka al-lutf bih. That's another dua. Allahumma inni la as'aluka radd al-qada, walakinni as'aluka al-lutf bih. I don't ask to repel the qada, but in other words, I'm not disagreeing with whatever Allah decrees and chooses. However, I ask Allah to be gentle in how this comes down upon us. On top of that, we have to remember no religion has placed more emphasis on human willpower than the religion of Islam. In that, the Prophet ﷺ said, "La yaruddu al-qada illa ad-du'a." That means if an angel came to you and said, this horrible thing is destined for you today. Well, guess what? Allah has put it in your hands to make enough strong dua that it will repel, it will stop that qada from hurting you. It'll come down, but it'll stop it. And lastly, I close with the Prophet saying, لا يزال دعاء المؤمن والقدر يعتلجان في السماء إلى يوم القيامة. The dua of a mu'min and the qadar will wrestle in the sky until the day of judgment. That means our dua, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, will stop and will blockade the bad things from happening to us. So that's why we have to have shiddah in our dua. I don't want to go any further. Let's see if Sami Kadovic, do you have any announcements that you'd like to make? And then we'll go straight to Sheikh Amin afterwards.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, it's such an honor to be with everybody here. We are now continuing, alhamdulillah, with the summer programming here at MBIC now that Ramadan is over. As we had said on last Jummah, inshallah ta'ala, NBIC is working on determining the proper procedure and the timing for when we will be reopening the masjid for programming, as well as salah, etc. This is obviously a process in which we are checking with the government authorities and healthcare officials, as well as the board, as well as our religious in teachings and instructions. So inshallah ta'ala, we will be informing you as things go on for that. But keep in mind, yes, we are governed by government regulations, but also but by what we feel is the safest system for those in our community, and based upon our situation, based on our prayer space, etc. So we will be keeping you updated on that. But meanwhile, alhamdulillah, we are going to have a full summer program for everyone in the community, continuing what we've been having now for the past 2 or 3 months. We will be having a continued summer program. Every night from Monday to Thursday, we will be having the evening community update and reflections with Dr. Shadi and other guests. We will also be having various programs throughout the week. Tomorrow we'll be starting again with Tales of the Sahaba for youth. We will be having on Thursdays, we'll be having story time for the children. That will be at 6:30 p.m. As Sheikh Shadi had mentioned, every morning after Salat al-Fajr, join us for the morning adhkar and dua and salah, inshallah ta'ala, after Fajr. So please, at 4:45 every morning, that will be as well. We will also have our Friday night programs, whether it's dhikr night or family night or youth night, whatever it is, those programs will be as well available to us, and we'll be keeping you updated what is coming up. This Friday will be the online dhikr program. Any type of additional programming, we will let you know, inshallah ta'ala, from the summer camp for children, which we'll be informing you about in the next week or so, Quran program, what have you. We want to make this as an enjoyable and beneficial summer for all of us, in spite of the fact that we are not physically able to gather at MBIC. We want to keep that spirit and energy of Ramadan through this connections that we've had virtually and online, keeping our hearts together, especially obviously in a very trying time that we're in, making sure that we keep our hearts together and our hearts connected to Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So please make sure you stay informed, stay connected with MBIC, with all the programming and everything that will be there, either through the email list, stay on the WhatsApp group, whatever it is. Make sure you join us every night. so we can collectively and share with your brothers and sisters, maybe some people who aren't connected as of yet or may not be aware. Please let them know that the summer programming is going on, regardless of whether or not we have the physical space of MBIC, inshallah ta'ala. We'll continue to keep you guys informed. Please remember the community, the country, the society, everybody in your dua, the beautiful dua that Sheikh Shadi had mentioned, and keep those things going so we can bring the rahmah, inshallah ta'ala, to our society and community. Jazakallah khairan, inshallah. We look forward to an exciting summertime program. And so please join us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our heart goes out to all of our African-American brothers and sisters who do not feel safety any longer, do not feel safe, are worried for their sons in particular. And our mode of operation is to seek out who are the leaders in pushing back this injustice and this really, you could say, lack of humanity as well, not just injustice, lack of humanity and insanity, and to support them in whatever they're doing, and to try to find a way to be of support to whatever work that they're doing. And we have amongst us, alhamdulillah, Sheikh Amin Muhammad, who we're lucky to know, and to have somebody in our community who's been in our masjid. And without any further delay, we'd like to hear from you, Sheikh Amin, what you're doing, what your community is doing, and what we could do to support your work. Bismillah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. First, let me thank Imam Shadi for reaching out to us and trying to see what we can do as brothers and sisters in Islam to rectify some of the bad conditions that we find, not only African Americans, but really our country. And when I talked to you earlier, my sentiments were a little bit calm after watching the President of the United States and his just deplorable behavior over the last hour. My senses have really become heightened because I see where we're going. And oftentimes, when you find yourself in comfort, you may forget about struggle. And when oppression is slightly lifted off your neck, you may forget its pressure when it is really applied. And this is a time in America that I prayed that I would never see. And it's scary. And I am not a person who fears easily. I don't fear for myself. I fear for all of us. Our people, African Americans, Native Americans, Africans before us have seen the white man at his lowest. And I know sometimes as Muslims, we try to act like these things ain't real. But unfortunately, all you got to do is look to Washington, D.C., and to that place they call the White House, and see what's coming out of there. And then just take a glance of history and you will realize this is serious. This is not a game. And so from that point, understand my state has changed. So I have to calm myself, because when you're getting ready to go into a fight, and we're getting ready to go into a fight, and it's sad, we will have no choice. You know, we as Muslims, we often look at the situation overseas in Palestine. We saw it in Bosnia, Albania. We see it now in Syria, in Afghanistan, and Pakistan and Iraq, and we see from the TV and we get the reports of what our government is capable of doing. But we sit here in the comfort of our homes and our good jobs and our careers, and everything seems smooth until those weapons are turned on us. And this issue, though it is at its root a protest for the killing and the unjust killing of African American men, women, and children. Don't forget that. Men, women, and children. But we looking at a bigger thing. It's not just that, though that's the foundation of the beginning of the struggle, but it's a system of oppression, a system of greed, a system of selfishness that only wants to fulfill its desire and devour everything around it. And this is something that we watch. And because we're not directly affected by it, we see it all the time. We see the deplorable conditions in the inner cities across this country. We see the unfairness in the healthcare system. We see mass incarceration. We see the disparity in higher education. We watch it. It's not like we don't know this stuff exists. But since it ain't directly affecting me or my people or my group or my ethnicity or my religious background, I don't care. If I could throw some flowery words at it, I'll do it. But the day is coming where we're all going to wish that we did care. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. Allah said, let there arise among you a group, a band that enjoins all that is good, and they enjoin what is right, and they forbid what is wrong. I want you to think about this verse. And Allah mentioned in the verse, a few verses after that, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. These are the ayat of the Quran. We are Muslims. We say we follow the Quran and the Sunnah, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us in the Sunnah, whoever among you sees a munkar, man ra'a minkum munkaran, falyughayyirhu. Let him change it. بيده وإن لم يستطع فبلسانه وإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك أضعف الإيمان. The Prophet ﷺ said, any of you who sees a munkar, and the ulama, when they say men ra'a, men alima, whoever knows about it, even if you don't see it physically, the fact that you know it exists, you're obligated in this religion to change it. And then Allah give the Prophet ﷺ give us levels. But here we've been watching, we know, we Muslims, we know most of our people are educated now. They went to university, they got degrees, they got bachelors and masters and PhDs. They're not knowing what's going on in this country, but they're not affected by it directly. But mark my words, those days are coming to a close very quickly. I want to share something with you. Friday, I gave a talk on Jumu'ah. And all of the people, because of social distancing, we are not able to come together like we normally do. So there's groups, what we're doing in our area with distancing. And I was going to talk about this situation of George Floyd and his brutal murder. But I was in a community of all immigrants. There were only 2 African Americans in the whole congregation. And this is in Atlantic City, in our MSG. But I said they need to hear this message. And I told them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Islam has given us something that we ain't taking advantage of. And that is our brotherhood as one ummah. That's a gift, that's a ni'mah from Allah. But we don't use it as one ummah. We stay in our groups. We stay in our cultural backgrounds where we feel comfortable, and it's understandable but not acceptable, especially in the times of hardship and difficulty and calamities. I told them, most of them are store owners, all on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, on the main avenue. They have stores all over. I said, listen, if you don't take a stance for justice, this is going to come and haunt you directly. Your businesses will be attacked. When they have to fight back from the oppression, they will count you as an oppressor. They will count you as being in support of the one who's oppressing them. This was Jumu'ah. This is Friday. I gave this talk to the people. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, the riots, first a peaceful march, which then in Atlantic City was a peaceful march, a successful march. Then after it, that anger turned into riots and looting. And guess who was among those whose stores were destroyed? The same people I was just talking to you Friday. Because now, instead of taking it before it happened, nothing you can do, it just happened. But before such thing occurs, you should have been on the front lines of social justice. So at least when these things occur, you're looked at as an ally, not an enemy. And now we get calls, Imam, they destroyed my business. I'm not a, I told you. I told you. I'm in the mosque, I support, I always, but we're talking about youth who have been disenfranchised, youth who don't got nowhere to turn, and nothing but reckless energy. And a system that doesn't care and tells them you're not valuable, you don't count. And when you have that, no matter who you are, if you're pressed hard enough, you're going to fight back. You're going to fight back. And if you don't have the level of sophistication to organize properly, it's going to be really ugly. So where is the leadership in the inner city, in the Black community? Sometimes we undermine that leadership by not supporting it. Now that we need it the most, it's not available. Because instead of saying, let's fund these activities in the inner city, let's fund these masajid, let's help these organizations, let's empower the people who are on the front lines, we don't do it. We take our resources, we keep it to ourselves. We stay over here, you stay over there. Now it's pouring all over the place. Now what? You don't have a safe zone. You don't. Where you work, they are targeting. Where you go learn, they're targeting all over the country. And Islam is the solution to this. But the Muslims have to follow Islam. And that's a challenge for us, because I pray to Allah, it ain't too late. But I don't know if y'all was just watching CNN about an hour ago and watched the display of our president. Some may say 45, Agent Orange, call him whatever you want. Right now, he got his finger on the button. And if you watch, just to go take a picture, he's already celebrating the war before it even started. And he took military, Capitol Police, local police, and he pushed innocent civilians with their hands up, and they weren't the majority Black people. They were young white folk. And he assaulted those people who were peaceful protesters. Now that's serious. And he gloated how he's going to do it around the country. And some of us might not believe him, but let me tell you something. He's not playing. When they're in the midst of their kufr, since we Muslims, we understand this. When they're in the midst of their kufr, they have no rahmah. They have no lutf. No, they only have dhum. That's it. And all you got to do is study history. These are the same people who wiped out a whole population of Native Americans. These are the same people who put people across the Atlantic and just butchered villages and people. These are the same people who dropped bombs from 35,000 feet on children to what? Achieve their objectives. No mercy. None. And right now, all we can do is listen to the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. We have to speak. You have a tongue. You have all these media outlets. You have to empower voices of truth. You have to. You have to use all this social media, all your Facebook pages, your Twitter, your Instagram, and you have to empower people to say, this is wrong. You can't say it is not me. You can't say that. It will be you tomorrow. Trust me. Just study history. We're in New Jersey. I was with an elder last night. He said, this reminds me of the Newark riots in the 60s, in the Harlem riots. Go study them. They started the same way. But the difference is, the one who's in that White House now, he wants blood. He had a call with the governors. He said, y'all weak. Basically, y'all cowards. We need massive force. I've seen these people at work. I know you say Sheikh Amin, Imam Amin. I've seen them close hand. I've been in some places that make your stomach turn. They can be vicious. Don't think they won't harm. They will. And just go look around. We watched that man, they had 3 to 4 officers on him and put his knee on his neck till he died. He's screaming for his mother. He's a grown man. What do you think is going through the mind of the people who's doing that? And I have family relatives. My son's a police officer. I fear for him. Because when they give their marching orders and you don't follow through, that man invoked the law from 1807. Do you know what 1807 looked like in America? He's quoting laws that the president has from 1807. Do you know what it looked like in 1807? None of us as Muslims would have been surviving in 1807. No, absolutely not. So that tells you the mindset. Who goes and look for laws from 1807? All that stuff should be abolished. But it's not. It's why laying in wait for the moment to return this country that we all benefit from, that we all have a sense of love for. It's going to turn it to its darkest days if we don't take a stance. And I don't want to go long. I'm telling you, I fear for us. You think 9/11 was bad? You ain't seen nothing. And in most of our immigrant community, no 9/11, they were under a lot of stress. You ain't seen nothing. Go look in our communities. You see those military vans? You see those tanks? You see those assault weapons? Those rubber bullets will turn into real bullets. Despite that, in Atlanta just the other night, they fired 2 officers. Did you see what they did to them little college kids? Bust their windows, pulled them out, tased them, poked holes in the car for 2 20-year-old college kids just driving. All right, they was a little bit past the curfew. Does it call for that kind of force? They ain't had no weapons. And guess what? They just let them go. They're making a point, and no one will be safe. No one will be safe. And when war is declared on the citizens and we don't comply, and there's anarchy in the streets, they have all around this country, especially in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, in Maryland, surrounding us, white militia who will become the new police force. Trust me. And they don't have the rules that we have. And we know our president will say there's good people on both sides. This is serious. And some people may say, oh, well, it's all, you think it's, no. I bet you didn't think what was happening right now would be happening either. It's a step. But if we, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah, inna Allah qadirun ala kulli shay. He has the ability over everything. So we don't despair, but also we are aware. And from our side, as Muslims, we know the end of time. We know that during the end of time, there are going to be many Dajjals before the Dajjal. And our shuyukh, they said we're in that time. And when I look, what I saw today, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, ya Latif, utuf bina wal muslimin. Really. And I drove through my city today. It looked like a police state. And they're sending in more and more troops. And just watch. I don't know what's going on now. There's a 7 o'clock curfew. When it's going to get dark. And when it get dark, it's going to get dark. Mm-hmm. Now, if he's bluffing, I believe him. Maybe some think he's bluffing. I've never seen the devil bluff, ever. He's at war with insaniya, with humanity. And Allah told us, there are shayateen min al-ins wa min al-jinn. There are devils from among the humans and from the jinn. And I know we like to talk about this stuff and read it in the books, but when you see it in reality, sometimes we don't believe what we're looking at. Scripture alive. So what I would suggest to you, Brother Imam, is don't let the bad things that we know, rioting and looting, we know this has no basis in our religion. However, there's a reason why that's happening. And don't let that cloud the reality what's going on in our country. Because if you study the civil rights movement, it wasn't just African Americans who lost their lives. Anyone who stood against oppression suffered. So there's going to be a moment where your comfort is going to be tested. And that's your measure of faith, right? But I pray that Allah gives us afiyah. I pray that what I see is I'm sadly mistaken, though I'm almost 100% certain that what I'm watching is not a dream, it's real. And I watch the police, despite knowing what caused it, they're still abusing people. They're still using unjust, unnecessary force, and they're being encouraged to use more force. What words is complete domination? We used to hear that about Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan or Syria. You're talking about American citizens. Unmatched force. Who talks like that? Think about that. They ain't talking about a foreign country. He's talking about tax-paying American citizens. Within 1 hour, if you estimated for that study board, you probably can count about $3 million in taxpayers' money for him to take a picture with a Bible, with a bunch of his white staff, no color involved at all. Think about that. Not even immigrant, not a Pakistani, not a Bengali, not an Arab, not a black. No, all white people. That's a statement being made with a white Bible that signifies a white Jesus in front of a white Catholic church. Did you forget the Crusades? This is serious. This is serious. And don't think that war, at the top of it is Islam. Because you're the only people who actually have guidance to stand against that evil. So may Allah give us afiyah. And I just say, we need to become an ummah right now. If we never thought we needed each other, over the next few days, observe, I would tell you, if you never watch CNN or Fox News or NMB, you better start watching. You better get out of that cocoon you may be in, because you need to know when it's coming to your doorstep. It's on the way. Right now, 7 o'clock, we can't go outside. It's a complete blackout, curfew. But our youth don't care nothing about that. So there's going to be some violence. Count on it.
SubhanAllah.
And because they're going to enforce it. And then I say our youth, it ain't just African-American youth. It's white youth, it's Pakistanis, they out there and they're tired. They don't have the same spirit as we do. They ain't got comfortable yet. They didn't get to taste the pie, so they want it. Nor do they know how severe these people can be. They're getting ready to find out though. But let's make dua. Let us, this is an everyday thing. We can't just do it one plug and then and I ain't saying we got to speak. We, all of us, got to every day on our Facebook pages. We got to try to push them back. And I advise you in closing, be careful when you're out in these protests. People out there protesting in sneakers, and these people got on military gear. They ain't playing with you. You on vacation, they not. So get a little serious. It's nice, but they don't care about you putting your hands up saying don't shoot. They're gonna mow you down. So be safe. Parents, talk to your children, because they're gonna go out. It's fun. It's not fun. I don't want to see none of you crying because one of your children got hurt out there. It's not a game. It's not a game. So, inshallah, I pray that Allah gives us afiyah. It's time for Maghrib for me. Sidi, anytime, especially in these situations, you can call on me, because right now, we need to save lives. We need to save lives. And we ain't seen the forces yet. We ain't seen it.
SubhanAllah.
Go on YouTube.
SubhanAllah.
Go put in these gun clubs. Go watch what they do. They're ready. They got 10 years old that shoot like military experts. They're not playing.
SubhanAllah.
They train regularly for civil war and complete anarchy. They're ready. They're going to come from where you never imagined. Soon as the corona hit, the first thing they did was buy up all the weapons and bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Gun stores couldn't keep bullets, couldn't keep guns. Where do you think they preparing for?
Mm-hmm.
Not playing. So may Allah help us. I pray that Allah's rahmah, Allah's protection, Allah's covering comes over us.
Amin.
Because if not, it's going to be a lot of janazas
SubhanAllah.
and a lot of crying. And the
SubhanAllah.
point is, we're not even going to have the choice not to do anything because they're not going to allow it.
Mm.
You remember the George Bush cry, you either with us or with the terrorists.
Mhm.
Well, guess what? We've become the terrorists. Think about that. You either with us or with the terrorists. And now we've become the terrorists, United States citizens.
Mm. SubhanAllah.
May Allah help us, inshallah. Sayyidi, please
Amen.
keep me in your dua. I
Jazakallah
pray
khairan.
safety for everyone, and I hope that Allah gives us a way out. And we'll
Thank
be
you.
in touch, inshallah, and I'll keep you updated. We are meeting now tonight. We're going to meet again. There's things going over Muslim communities, and I'll keep you in the loop, inshallah.
Good. Please do, so we can stay in solidarity with all the other networks out there.
Yes.
And also be informed and keep our community informed and up to date, and keep their spirit strong, keep their heads up, and keep all of us heads up and our spirits strong and ready for whatever's coming.
But a lot of dua, please.
A lot
In
of
the
dua.
depths of night.
Definitely.
In the depths of the night, the awliya, they used to go to that prayer rug, raise their hands to Allah with ikhlas, with sincerity, with loneliness, with humbleness, and pray to Allah to remove this affliction.
SubhanAllah.
Trust me, we don't want to see it.
Mhm.
We don't
SubhanAllah.
want it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Make dua a lot. If you can, what can you do? And I told you, at night, raise your hands to your Lord. Get out the bed. Allah, remove this from us. We don't want to see it. It's not going to be pretty.
SubhanAllah.
So the dua at night, at this point,
Mm.
your resources, your money, none of that means nothing. All you got, which is really important, is your dua. Please, 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 after every prayer, every night, get up out that bed, get it in the depths of the night, make wudu, make and raise your hands to Allah. Ya Latif Utuf Bina. You know, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khaira. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Jazakallah khairan. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So with that, alhamdulillah, we've seen what the situation is, and that we have to keep our heads up. We have to keep our spirits up. We have to be ready for what's coming. We have to, most importantly, be aware of what's going on, not be naive, and not be unaware of what's facing us. And also, we have to be, most importantly, in solidarity with those who are victimized. Most importantly, again, is we have to focus on who's suffering most, and not worrying always just about how it's going to impact me, because that's the mentality that causes oppression to continue. We have to keep our minds and our eyes on who's suffering most, and have a spirit of solidarity with these victims and the family of victims, and do whatever we can physically, virtually, online, and most importantly, according to our belief, or what we believe spiritually, in our dua. And do not underestimate the power of dua. Let's go to the dua against a plague that we've been reciting. And as I said, the first part of it is just universal, plague or no plague. And we'll say this, inshallah, and we'll close out tonight's community update. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. تحصنت بذي العزة واعتصمت برب الملكوت وتوكلت على الحي الذي لا يموت. اللهم اصرف عنا الوباء بلطفك يا لطيف إنك على كل شيء قدير. يا لطيف ألطف بنا فيما جرت به المقادير. يا لطيف ألطف بنا فيما جرت به المقادير. يا لطيف ألطف بنا فيما جرت بنا المقادير. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد صلاة تنجينا بها من جميع الأهوال والآفات، وتقضي لنا بها جميع الحاجات، وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات، وترفعنا بها عندك أعلى الدرجات، وتبلغنا بها أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة وبعد الممات. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، والحمد لله رب العالمين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.